Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are going to tear apart one of the biggest myths in achievement.
Oh, this is a good one.
It's the idea that, a true expert is someone who just never makes mistakes.
Right, this myth of effortless perfection. It's a complete fabrication. Our sources, both ancient and modern, they are crystal clear on this. An expert is not someone who never screws up.
Not at all.
An expert is the person who has built the discipline, the system, to recover and overcome those mistakes.
Exactly. So if expertise isn't perfection, then it has to be a system, a deliberate system that leads to refinement, to resilience. And that's really the challenge we are setting for you today.
Yeah, we're essentially going to teach you how to design a personal operating system for relentless improvement.
We're taking these ideas from Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius and blending them with modern masters coaches like John Wooden, Coach K, Bill Walsh.
And the mission is to synthesize all of it,
Yep.
give you specific, repeatable steps to take an idea from theory and just cement it into muscle memory.
Building a system where excellence becomes, almost inevitable.
And we have some amazing sources to work with: manifestos, rules, even private journal entries. This is self-mastery as a serious training program.
But before you can build anything, you have to clear the ground, you have to get rid of the clutter.
Let's start there, with Seneca's warning about what he called the slow hemorrhage of attention.
I love that phrase, a slow hemorrhage.
It's so visceral. He noticed that most of us, we only see the big failures. We never notice the tiny cumulative leaks that drain our energy every single day.
It's not the dramatic injury that gets you, it's the daily drip.
Ah.
He listed them out too. Pointless grief, foolish joy, greedy desire.
And social amusements. And if you just stop and think about what those are today,
It's easy.
it's the perpetual outrage cycle on social media, it's compulsive comparison, it's chasing the next consumer high, or just saying yes to things that serve someone else's agenda, not yours.
The thing is, it's not resisting some huge catastrophe. It's resisting the trivial, the things that feel like work but produce nothing.
Right? Coach Krzyzewski had that line. You can't complain about the results you didn't get from work you didn't do.
But the deeper problem, and you kind of touched on this, is doing the wrong work.
That's the real trap. We fill our days with reactive emails, with workplace drama that feels important in the moment, but it's just noise.
It gives you the illusion of being productive.
Exactly. It's the difference between just doing and actually advancing. And to maximize your impact, you have to be ruthless about telling the difference.
Which brings us to Bill Walsh and his garden metaphor. I think this is perfect.
It's such a great analogy. He says ruthless cultivation is two things. You have to pull the weeds, that's the elimination part,
The hard part.
the hard destructive work, but that only creates space. Then you have to water the flowers. That's the positive, deliberate act of creation.
So you, the listener, need to look at your schedule and just actively subtract. Where is my seductive waste of pointless emotional turbulence, as Seneca put it?
Is it that meeting you didn't need to be in? Is it worrying about something you literally cannot control?
Right.
It's all about learning the power of no. No to distractions, no to other people's priorities, no to emotional drama. An old African proverb says it all. A feeble effort will not fulfill the self.
Okay, so we've cleared the land, we've made space. Now what? What do we plant in that garden?
Well, Marcus Aurelius had an answer. And it wasn't about finding the next new idea. It was about repetition.
And not just casual rereading. This was repetition designed for transformation.
His meditations, you see, it's not a diary. It's a workbook. He's constantly quoting his own master thinkers, Epictetus, Zeno. He's literally practicing their thoughts on the page.
Seneca commanded this. He said, "You must linger among a limited number of master thinkers and digest their works."
If you would derive ideas which shall win firm hold in your mind, that word digest, that's everything.
It's not just knowing it, it's breaking it down, internalizing it until it's part of your DNA.
The goal isn't just to have the information. It's to build philosophical muscle memory. So when chaos hits, the right principle, patience, objectivity is just, there. You don't have to look it up.
That makes you think of Marcus's boxer analogy. He said the expert is more like a boxer than a swordsman.
Right, because the fencer can be separated from their sword. The expertise is external.
But the boxer, their weapon is their clenched fist. It's their footwork. It's their clarity. The system is internal. It's always ready.
That is the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Fusing the philosophy to the practitioner. If you only get the gist of it, which was a phrase Marcus hated,
Aha! Right.
then the idea is still separate from you. When the pressure's on, you drop the book and panic.
But let me push back on that for a second. We're always told to read widely, to diversify our inputs.
Yeah.
Doesn't just lingering with a few thinkers lead to, stagnation?
It's a fair question, but it's about depth versus breadth. If you're just collecting facts, sure, read widely, but this isn't about memorization.
It's about integration.
It's about testing the concept against your daily life until it actually changes your behavior. You don't lift a weight one time and get strong. The mind needs the same kind of reps.
So it's not regression to go back to the basics?
Not at all. E.W. Adams said that looking backward for a while is how you refresh the eye
Yeah.
and render it more fit for looking forward. It's strategic restoration. You recalibrate your system.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's move from that philosophical repetition to daily operational excellence. And we have to talk about Bam Adebayo's manifesto.
It's incredible. It's dense, it's alliterative, and it's a perfect example of turning these big ideas into a practical standard.
It starts with something we've all heard. Piss-poor performance produces pain, but proper prior planning prevents piss-poor performance.
That's the baseline. But where he goes from there is what's really interesting.
He details what that planning actually plants. Okay, let's break this down because it's a mouthful. Progressive programming, planting power, poise, and prediction. Pushing promise by paying the price with prompt and persistent practice. What does that mean for someone who isn't a pro athlete on a Tuesday afternoon?
It's stoicism for the training room. Progressive programming just means you build your system incrementally. Don't try to do it all at once.
Okay.
And power, poise, and prediction are what preparation gives you. Power is having your resources ready. Poise is that internal calm under fire. And prediction. That just means you've run the scenario so many times that nothing really surprises you.
And the price you pay isn't just hard work. It's prompt and persistent practice. Prompt, meaning you don't put off the hard stuff.
And persistent, meaning you show up even when you don't see immediate results.
Yeah.
You make the payment. You trust the process.
And the outcome he describes is fascinating. It's not just winning. He says it leads to a powerful, pure, and precise presence.
But he also stresses the softer outcomes. This kind of excellence, he says, pours out positivity, pumps passion, propagates patience, and preserves peace.
That's the real difference, isn't it? A talented person might win, but they might be a wreck inside. The master finds internal peace because their system is so solid.
They've paid the price. They trust the work they've done.
And that system, it's really character.
That's John Wooden's whole philosophy. Ability can get you to the top, but it's character, mental, moral, and physical, built through that patient accumulation of right actions. That's what keeps you there.
So we have the system, but any system can drift if it's not calibrated. Which brings us to the hardest part.
The hard work of self-interrogation.
And with Marcus Aurelius, you have to remember the context. This wasn't some guy in a quiet library. This was the emperor of Rome, facing corruption, absolute power, constant war.
He had no boss. No one could give him real, honest feedback. He saw what that kind of power did to people like Nero. It creates delusion.
So he avoided becoming a tyrant by imposing a level of accountability on himself that no one else could.
His journal was his accountability partner. And we're not talking about a to-do list. This was intense, uncomfortable self-examination.
The questions he asked himself are just staggering. What am I doing with my soul? What kind of soul do you have now? A child's soul, an adolescence, a tyrant's soul.
Think about that. He's not asking, did I meet my quarterly goals? He's asking, am I a good person or am I becoming a monster?
But is that level of self-scrutiny, is it healthy for the average person? Don't you risk just, analysis paralysis or constantly beating yourself up?
That's a real risk, but only if the goal is perfection. The Stoic goal was never perfection. It's clarity. It's reality testing.
So the real danger isn't the self-interrogation.
The real danger is the mind left untended, because it will drift. It drifts toward delusion, toward convenience, toward self-serving stories.
George Orwell wrote about this. He said, to see what is in front of one's nose needs a constant struggle.
Especially in chaotic times. That journal is your objective record. It stops you from conveniently forgetting what you used to believe when events prove you wrong.
So if you don't interrogate your own mind, who will?
No one. Your internal standards have to be higher than any external ones. That's why Epictetus said you have to do it daily. Every day and night, keep thoughts like these at hand. Write them, read them aloud, talk to yourself and others about them.
That's that constant calibration. That's where stillness comes from, the clarity.
And this whole system, it can't just be mental. It has to include the physical vessel. John Jerome wrote about this, about the body's wisdom. His rules for stretching are a perfect metaphor for everything else.
What were they?
Simple stuff. Break up every 30 minutes of sitting. Stretch in private.
Yeah.
Forbid hurting yourself. And above all, use gentleness.
There it is again. Sustainability over intensity. Daily, gentle consistency is what builds flexibility. Sporadic, violent effort just leads to injury.
And that gentleness requires restraint. An old saying goes, a dry soul is wisest and best. Clarity is your most valuable asset.
Anything that clouds your judgment, exhaustion, emotional turmoil, alcohol, it's a loss of control over your expertise.
People love the mad genius trope, but that story almost always ends in self-destruction, which is the opposite of sustained excellence. The THINK filter. Is it true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, kind? That only works if the mind applying it is sharp. You have to guard your clarity.
And when you guard your clarity, you keep control of your focus. It's that sports metaphor again. The team that controls the ball controls the score.
You have to keep possession of your focus. You can't let it get stolen by urgency or noise or somebody else's crisis.
This clarity also helps you see past the proxies, the things we chase that aren't the real goal.
Seth Godin wrote about the three big ones. Once our basic needs are met, we chase affiliation, status, and freedom from fear.
And people waste so much energy on that, taking on projects just for status, avoiding unnecessary conflict because they're afraid.
They're seeking external validation instead of building internal mastery. The expert learns to see that social theater for what it is and steps away from it.
So if this whole system requires such relentless consistency, where do you start? How do you even begin?
You simplify, you set the bar low, choose simple drills, simple exercises, and then you perform them savagely well.
I love that. The gentleness is in the design, keep it simple, but the savagery is in the execution. No compromises on consistency.
It's better to start simple and execute brilliantly than to design some perfect, complex system that you never actually implement.
It all comes back to being the realist who adjusts the sail. The pessimist complains about the wind, the optimist hopes it'll change.
But the realist, the expert, they just adjust the sail. They focus on what they can control. Their practice, their clarity, their daily reps.
And that daily adjustment, that's how you build the character to overcome mistakes.
You build a system so deep it becomes automatic. Like the boxer's fist, it's just there, ready. It is the patient, disciplined accumulation of strength.
A powerful thought to end on.
There's one more. Lady Bird Johnson once said that children are likely to live up to what you believe of them. I want you to take that and apply it to yourself, because you will live up to or down to your own self-belief and your own expectations. So the question is, are you paying the price with prompt and persistent practice? Are you cultivating the evidence that justifies believing in your own prolonged, polished peak play? Consider what expectation your daily practice is setting right now for the expert you are becoming.